Hey, good morning. Let me get everybody in from the waiting room and then we'll be ready to get going for today. Okay, so really quick, today is the biggest part of today is wrapping up on your unit packets. And kind of while we're doing this, we'll make sure that we review in the mix. So good morning, happy Wednesday to everybody. We got a few things that we'll talk about, a few things that are coming up, and then we'll get rolling. All right, so I'm just going to talk about a couple of things. I'm not going to go too far ahead just to make sure that I don't miss anybody that's jumping on this morning. Okay, so we're rolling right along. We are finishing up our combo unit with chapter 15 and progressives, and we're finishing up the last week of the first 6 weeks. I just want to say, I want to shout out Ashlyn and Alex. I know you guys don't want to show your faces on Zoom meetings. It's all good, but it was nice to watch y'all's videos. Watching the commercials from Honors Project 1 was the only thing that I had left to do to finish grading everything, and I enjoyed that. So 2 thumbs up on your commercials, and it was nice to actually see your pretty faces instead of just staring at names on screens. So good job. Good morning. I told somebody the other day, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not going to know what you guys look like when you walk in the door. Because I get to look at just names on screens. And I don't know why y'all don't want to show off your beautiful faces, because you're just hashtag killing it all day, every day. But anyway, loved the commercials. 2 thumbs up on the commercials. Super cute. Loved that. So anyway, I am excited, and I don't know what you guys chose, and you don't have to share that with me, whether or not you chose to come back in person when we start AB. I know we're still waiting on the details of that to be flushed out. We are coming back, and the details of that are coming out. I would think if they're not shared today, they should be shared tomorrow so that you guys know what the details are, because they're going to release the dates on all that. So all that is coming, and I'm not going to say anything because they haven't made it official yet. But if you guys did decide that you do want to come back in person whenever that starts back up, then I do look forward to seeing your pretty faces in person. That will be nice. So anyway, a couple of things. Hopefully, I don't know if you have access to PowerSchool, and if you don't, and you want to know what things are looking like as I'm putting in the last couple of grades, just shoot me a message, and I'll make sure that I'll let you know. If you can't get in, what you're looking at. And I'm pretty sure that everybody that's in Zoom, I think all you guys are good. All your work is in, and it's good to go. The only thing, I might throw a few of 15 stuff in there to kind of round things out, but we're going to be finishing up grades Monday, Tuesday of next week, and then report cards, I don't think they're actually going to be sent out until the end of next week. So chapter 15 stuff will be the last few things that are on there, and we will start fresh in the second 6 weeks with World War I next week. So, hopefully you guys like that. If you're not a big war buff, then it's okay. More fun stuff is coming after that. But World War I stuff is next week. And then don't forget, for my honors peeps, make sure, I messed up on the Google Sheet for Honors Project 2, but I went back in and made it to where you guys can edit it. So if you haven't chosen your person, make sure that you go in there and you pick somebody. Just like Honors Project 1, it's first come, first serve. I don't want any repeats. So you guys go in and pick your person. and let me know if you have any questions as far as Honors Project 2 goes, creating your Facebook page. And that's what I meant to do. I knew I was forgetting something. But I've got examples. There are a variety of ways as to how you guys can do this, because I've had kids, students, that have done it either, and don't feel like you have to do it as a legit Facebook page, because there is its own ClassNet, ClassTools.net, I think is the website. They have a fake, F-A-K-E, a fake book page that you can create, or you can create it on a Google Doc, but you might have to be a little bit more creative. It might take some more time to kind of, make those boxes for the picture and the boxes for the wall comments. That might take a little bit more time, but it is doable because I've seen it done. Or even using like a big old piece of poster board. And if you want poster board and you can run by the school, I can always give you guys any art supplies that you want for anything. I just, whether or not that's an option for you to run by the school or not. But that's another way that I've had it done, is on poster board. But the biggest thing is going by the rubric and making sure that you're meeting all those requirements. You have, like I said, a variety of options as to how you can present that information. So hopefully that helps. And I'm going to make myself a note, and Lord only knows if I'll actually remember to look at my notes. But hopefully if I get a minute today, I can put in some pictures of previous projects, and that way you guys have a visual to go by for Honors Project 2. Okay. All right, so let's get to it. I don't want to waste your time. I know that you've got other stuff that you need to be doing today. So your 15 stuff, only your unit, chapter 15, only had 3 things. Hopefully everybody finished and turned in your IDs Monday, so that should be done. Today's objective is to finish your unit packet and turn in the unit packet. There's only one thing, I believe, I hope I'm right, that you've got to do on your own, which is that content vocabulary page, that last page, which will be good review practice for you in preparation for the combo test. So today we'll finish and do 15-3 together. You'll do that content review page, finish and wrap up, send in your packet, and then the last and final piece of the puzzle is making sure that you're knocking out that progressive project packet. Please follow the instructions. Don't get overwhelmed. You're not doing all of it. You're just doing chunks, okay? And we'll review and make sure you know what chunks you have to do for that to wrap up on that tomorrow. So you finish with that tomorrow. Watch the review video and knock out your test tomorrow. And then, I thought I would be really nice, and all you gotta do on Friday is respond to a bell ringer, and we're gonna take a breather Friday so that we can jump back in and hit it on Monday, okay? All right, so anybody got any questions? Because if not, I'm just gonna jump straight into it. Is everybody okay this morning? So far, so good? Okay. And I'll watch the chat if anybody throws anything at me. All righty, let's do it. Let's knock it out. Section 3 says, what did Roosevelt do at the 1912 Republican National Convention when it became clear that President Taft's delegates controlled the nomination? So this is a really big election year, and hint, you're going to see some questions on tomorrow's test about it. The 1912 election had not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 candidates running for the presidency. Yes, we are a 2-party system, so obviously we have somebody running as the Democrat, which is Woodrow Wilson, somebody running as the Republican, which is Howard Taft, or William Howard Taft. But Taft and Roosevelt are butting heads. They used to be besties, but then they started arguing about the policies. So Roosevelt decides he's going to come back and he's going to run for another term in office because he thinks that Taft has really messed things up for the Republicans. But guess what? The Republican Party can't have but one candidate running So guess what Roosevelt does? Roosevelt creates a third party to run for the 1912 election. So he creates, you can either call it the Progressive Party or the Bull Moose Party. Either one is right. Because Bull Moose is the mascot. You know how we have the donkey and the elephant that represent the Democrats and the Republicans? Well, the Bull Moose, and Bull Moose is just a male moose, represents the Progressive Party. And then the fourth is Eugene V. Debs, who's going to run as the socialist candidate. And he actually gets 1 million votes, which is pretty darn impressive for a third party candidate. Okay, but it's a beautiful political cartoon, and if you haven't seen it on the Google Slides, you need to check it out. But unfortunately, the donkey, which represents the Democratic Party, is going to win it by a landslide because the Republicans are divided between the Progressive Party and the Republican Party. So they pretty much handed to the Democrats on a silver platter for the 1912 election. But I said all that to tell you what your answer is, which is they split up the votes. Oh, no, don't put that. He created his own party. That's what I want you to write. The answer for number 1. He creates his own party, and by he, I mean Roosevelt. Roosevelt creates a third party to run for the 1912 election. So creates his own party. It's up to you if you want, how much detail you want to put. If you wanted to make yourself a note, it is the Progressive Party that he creates. And again, he's pretty much dividing the Republicans between the conservative Republicans and the new progressives. Okay, let's keep it rolling. Number 2 says, what progressive action did Woodrow Wilson take as governor of New Jersey? He reduced taxes, and everybody loves somebody who cuts taxes. Cuts taxes, worked on the banking system. So, you know, 1 or 2 things that you can put down for number 2. Cuts taxes and works on the banking system. So that's definitely something that people are going to remember for sure. All right, number 3. What reforms did Roosevelt outline in his 1912 election campaign? 2 things. Protect women's rights. So you can just say women's rights and child labor laws. Those 2 things. Women's rights, child labor laws. So he knows, and of course he said more than that, but those are some major changes that still need to be made. Okay. All right, keeping it rolling. Number 4 says, what did Roosevelt call this progressive reform program? And it's New Nationalism. New Nationalism. That is his that's his new program, platform, whatever you want to call it. New Nationalism. And again, all this information is coming from, and I wish I had your notes right out in front of me so I could tell you, but it's that it's not the last Google slide, but it's the one before. If I can find it real quick, I'll tell you what it's called. But that's where all this info is coming from. Is in your Google Classroom under your slides. Okay. Number 5. About lost my place. Number 5. Number 5 says, what did Wilson think of monopolies and Roosevelt's approach to them? And sorry, I moved it again. He said they should be destroyed. Monopolies should be destroyed. There you go. Monopolies should be destroyed. And most people believed that monopolies were bad for the economy, except for big business. You know, they liked making those millions. Right? It's all about the Benjamins, right? Okay, number 6. What did Wilson think would lead American manufacturers to improve their products and lower their prices? Lowering tariffs. That was a big one. That was a big one. Lowering tariffs. And remember, a tariff is a tax on imports. Lowering tariffs, which is a really big thing because we haven't had tariffs lowered in years. Because, and this is an extra, what am I saying? An excellent review question. Anybody tell me why we've had high tariffs for so long? What was our goal? What were you trying to accomplish with having high tariffs? Any takers? Okay. We wanted people to buy American made, right? So if we have high tariffs, nobody can afford to buy imports, and people are all having to buy American made products, which of course makes our businesses boom. And that's good and bad. It does hurt foreign relations, right? If we're not buying from other countries, they're not going to want to buy from us. So it does hurt some foreign relations and trade. And also, some of our stuff is not as good a quality as what you might get overseas, because again, European countries have been around for hundreds of years more than we have. You know, their products and quality are better because they've been doing it longer, right? So anyway, okay, let's get back to it. I lost my place again. Where was I at? 7, is that right? Maybe? Question 7?
Yeah, it should be 7.
Okay, all right. 7 says, how did the Underwood tariff affect imported goods? Reduced it by 30%. There's your answer. Reduced it, or you could say cut it by 30%, which was pretty huge. Like I said, that's the lowest our tariffs have been in a very long time. Cut it by 30%. Okay. Excuse me. All right, number 8. What was an important section of the Underwood tariff? Income taxes. Starting income taxes. We have not really been pushing that. I mean, yeah, the 16th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution levies income taxes, but the idea of enforcing it, you know, tax money is what makes up 80% of the government's revenue. So it's a big deal. We need that money to make sure that we're paying for all the things, right? All the social services, military and transportation, all that stuff. We need that revenue. So income tax, getting income taxes. All right, let's keep rolling. What number 9? How did the new Federal Reserve System affect banks? President Wilson gets credit for setting up our Federal Reserve System. Hold on. They supervise banks. The Federal Reserve is like the principal at a school. All right, the Federal Reserve watches how the other banks function. All right, so they supervise the banking system. Supervise it, they're over it, however you want to word it, but supervise the banking system. Good deal. All right, number 10 says, how does the Federal Reserve Board affect the economy? 2 words, interest rates. Interest rates. They control interest rates. They control interest rates. So, you know, they're the ones, they watch how the economy's doing, right? Our economy is like a roller coaster, you know? We're up, we're down, we're back, we're forth. So they watch where the economy is and will either lower or raise interest rates based on how the economy's doing, okay? But they control interest rates. All right, last couple of questions. Number 11 says, what were the powers of the new Federal Trade Commission? Investigate big business. So just 3 words, investigate big business. Because these big business owners are just making a killing being unsupervised. So watching big business, making sure that they are doing fair business practices, okay? But investigating and watching big business. All right, number 12. Number 12 says, what did the Clayton Antitrust Act ban? Just put unfair trade practices. So again, we'll shorten it down, 3 words. Unfair trade practices. So again, we're cutting down on monopolies, we're cutting down on big business, we're cutting down on trust, and we're really targeting those big business owners, which they've been running wild for too long. So they deserve what's coming. So what did I say for that one? Unfair trade practices. Okay, 13. Why did the Supreme Court rule the Keaton-Owen Child Labor Act unconstitutional? Because child labor wasn't in every state. Not every state allowed it. And they said that it was more of a state level issue. How about, yeah, let's put that. State level issue. We'll put that. State level issue. They're kind of going back to the 10th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. And the 10th Amendment is states' rights. And the government does try and give the individual states the right to kind of pick and choose how they regulate things. So they're giving the states opportunities. So it's controlled at the state level. Yeah, so only states can regulate it. I forget how we worded it, but yeah, just shorten that down. All right, 14, how did public opinion about the role of government shift during the progressive era? Government pays, let's see, plays, not pays. Government plays a bigger role in business. I don't know how to shorten that much more, but government plays a more active role, I guess is how we can squeeze it down. So the government is watching a little bit more closely how big business, well, any business really, but specifically big business operates. They're paying more attention. They are starting to really close in on these big business owners and go after their unfair practices. You know, they've been paying slave wages and terrible working conditions and long hours way too long. And it's time to start crunching down on them so that we can protect workers and workers' rights. Last but not least, this is kind of a little bit of a review. We've talked about W.E.B. Du Bois. We talked about him in chapter 13, your 3rd unit. So this is going back to him. What did W.E.B. Du Bois and others believe was essential for bringing about an end to lynching and racial discrimination? And it is voting rights. Voting rights. So just 2 words, voting rights. We're trying to really target and go after discrimination and segregation. And one of the ways is making sure that people are ensured their voting rights. So again, that's kind of a review. Remember, people were being stopped because of poll taxes, grandfather clause, literacy tests, things like that. So, you know, trying to make sure that those things are taken away. And poll taxes are illegal now. That's actually the 24th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. But obviously, all those changes are still in the works during this time period. Okay. All right. So as long as you have done your sections each day, all that you should have left in your unit packet is that content vocabulary page, which is really, like I said, good practice in preparation for your unit test. All right, now let's take a little bit of time, not much, just a little bit, to talk about your progressive project packet. Quick reminder that you're only picking 10, just 10 of these questions to respond back to. Picking one of these options, either the charts, the timeline, or doing the reflection. And we've kind of been doing the poems and some crossword answers together. Let's do the last poem together. That last poem at the bottom on this page. We did the first one Monday, the other one yesterday. And then today we'll do the last poem and then do some crossword answers, unless you've got something else. All right, so like I said, I love these poems. I think they're hilarious. Well, if you understand the meaning, they are. All right, it says, Teddy, come home and blow your horn. The sheep's in the meadow, the cow's in the corn. The boy you left to tend the sheep is under the haystack fast asleep. So again, if you don't recognize any of these poems, they're all set to children nursery rhymes. That one is set to Little Boy Blue, if you don't remember that as a kid. All right, so here's the questions. It says, what's wrong according to the poem? And so the little boy that's fast asleep is Taft. They're saying that Taft is asleep, not paying attention, okay? So it says that Taft is asleep, not paying attention, and that's why Roosevelt feels like he needs to come back in for another term as president to clean up Taft's mess, which is really harsh because Taft does a lot of good. I mean, Roosevelt, Wilson, and Taft all do a good job, but of course they're doing it in different ways. So again, it's saying that Taft is asleep and not doing a good job. The last question says, who's the boy left to tend the sheep? What's his real identity? Well, I already said that. It's talking about President Taft. President Taft. Okay, now, like I said, I was going to go over and do a few more crossword answers on the crossword puzzle, unless anybody has something else. Or if you have a specific one on the puzzle that you want me to go over, if there's a certain number that you want me to look at. But make sure everybody got 15 and 17. I gave that one to everybody just because they got cut off. So don't forget that 17 down is NAACP, and then the other one was 15 down. 15 down is Cannon, C-A-N-N-O-N. What else? Does anybody have one that they specifically want me to go over? I mean, if not, I can just randomly pick a few. Okay. All right. If you have one, you can throw it in the chat if you don't want to say it. But let's see. I didn't write down the ones we did the other day, so I'm just trying to go off of memory. 10 down. We can find 10 down. I don't know how well you guys can see mine, but 10 down is this one over here. 10 down. 10 down says the Child Labor Act, and it's the Keaton. I want to make sure I spell it out right today. K-E-A-T-I-N-G Owen. O-W-E-N. Keaton Owen is the name of the Child Labor Act. So all together, Keaton Owen. All right, let's see, what's another one we can do? All right, 6, we can do 6 down, and 6 down is that last one at the top. 6 down says expert hired to run a city, and it should be city manager. Let me write it to make sure that's right. City, M-A-N-G, wait a minute. A-G-E-R. Yeah, sorry about that. If I could spell, I would have had it right the first time. City manager for 6 down. Let's see, what's another one? Number 9 down we talked about today. 9 down is actually beside of 10 down. 9 down says tariff that finally lowered rates. Talked about that one today. And that one is, what do we say? It was on our packet. And now, where'd my packet go? Isn't it Underwood? Not right? Yeah, Underwood. Should be Underwood for 9 down. Yep, that's right. Underwood for 9 down. We'll squeeze in one more. One more for today. Why not? Let's squeeze in one more. Like I said, don't let me do one we've already done. 20 down, or no, 20 across. Have we done 20 across? Did we do that one? No, 20 across. Winner of the 1912 election is Wilson. 20 across, Wilson. And 20 across is that's the last one at the bottom, the last one to go across. So Wilson. Okay. Any other special request or questions? Anybody else got a question before we stop for today? No? Okay. Well, again, the only change about tomorrow, and like I said, up until now, I've been good to try and make sure that I didn't miss a meeting or anything. But unfortunately, I do have doctor's appointments in the morning, so I'm not going to be able to do our live Zooms like we normally will. I'm going to have a review video of me going over and getting ready for your unit test. So obviously it's up to you whether or not you watch the live video, or what am I saying? Not live video, but whether you watch the review video. But I will post it both in the stream, and I didn't realize until the other day that a lot of people are not paying attention to the stream, and they're assuming everything is in those unit sections in the classwork tab. So I might put it in that too. So I'll put it in a couple of different places to make sure that hopefully everybody sees it. So the good news is that I did cut the test in half compared to your last combo test. It's, first 10 or 15 questions are imperialism from 14, and then the last 10 or 15 questions are from progressives. So please watch that video. We did some review today talking about those major topics. If I were you, I would go back through and just kind of run through your vocab list. And I'll have a couple more videos today that I'll post here in just a little bit of me reviewing some of the bigger topics. But again, I kind of shortened it for a couple of reasons. So I think you guys will be fine. You'll go in there, you'll knock it out, wrap up on all 15 stuff. And like I said, we'll get into World War I first thing on Monday. All right, any questions, comments, concerns, issues, anything before we stop for today? Besides, we got a puppy dog? Is that a little puppy? No, how sweet. Look. See? That's sweet. No, nice. All right, guys. Well, that's it. That's it. If you're good, we're going to call it a day. Happy Wednesday. Oh.